Alright, so the other day we were talking about card savers. And the reason why we're talking about card savers is because I went to eBay to buy some. And I was like, holy shit, they're selling 10 of these for like $6. That doesn't even make sense. And that was, oh yeah, plus shipping, $3 for shipping. I'm like, they're plastic. You know, I usually get a whole bunch of top loaders for like, $3. So I was like, what the heck is going on here? And I asked the guy about it, and he told me his reasons. I went to some other YouTube videos, and they told me all their different reasons, and I'll spell it out for you right now. So there's twofold, all right? A, some people are saying that when you send a PSA or Beckett, you have to use these. Well, these ones are called Ultra, but the other people want you to use Card Saver 1. Card Saver 1 is the gem mint that people want to use when sending the two grading companies, probably SGC as well. They do not want you to use top loaders, and the reason why is because top loaders, they don't want to be responsible for insurance when the cards fall out. And this one's not falling out, thank God, because this is, Mike Trout, yours truly. So I don't even want to touch this thing, but I have no choice but to take it out of the thing. Now, we have to take it out of that one, and you have to put it in this one, just in order for this to be sent to Beckett or PSA. Now, the reason why they're expensive is obviously A, because of that, all the people that send their cards into those places, number one, and number two, China. China pretty much makes all the card savers, they make all the top loaders, and shops can't get them in time. So the store I went to says they only have a 2-box limit for their people. That's probably one of their main things they sell is top loaders, because everybody buys offline now. But yeah, they have a 2-box limit to all their customers. Who would have ever thought? So we're doing this today because we wanted to talk about, what would these grade? You know what I mean? And so this is Cal Ripken, 1982, Topps traded rookie card. Just, you're at home, you guess what that would be rated at. I'm looking at this. It looks fairly centered. I think there's a bit of a surface damage, if anything. I think, to me, it looks like all the corners are sharp. Edges look good, so I would say this one to me is a 9. We'll see what they say. Obviously, anytime you're getting chrome, Topps chrome from the last 2-3 years, you're either dealing with a 9, 9.5, or a 10. This is a Kuna. It's not a refractor, but for some reason, you grade a Kuna, it doubles in value immediately. Personally, I think this is probably a 9.5, because if I send it to PSA, maybe they'll give me the 10. Then I have this card here. What do you think's wrong with this one? The centering's a little off, right? Can you see that? I don't know if the edges are messed up, but the corners look pretty sharp to me. I was not able to identify any corner issues. I'm going to say this is going to be a 9 when they come back with it. I'm okay with that, I'm not sure how much Trout 9's worth, but $500 bucks. Alright, so here we got Don Mattingly. This is not your typical Don Mattingly. This is your Topps Tiffany Don Mattingly. Can you tell? You can usually tell by the way the back is a little bit brighter there, and it has some gloss to it. So if you're wondering if I done anything to these cards or not, I did. Basically, I wiped them down a few weeks ago. If you're wondering how to wipe them down, I would just Google another YouTube video for that. I'm not going to go over that type of stuff. I didn't wipe down all of them because, honestly, I just wiped down the ones that I thought might need it. Definitely not all of them. One of my concerns with buying cards like this off eBay is that you never know when it's fake, so you have to be really careful. I don't think it's fake. I put a lot of time and effort into looking at it, and I have a lot of experience with looking at Topps Tiffany cards, but you never know. I kind of want to get that graded before I give that guy a review, just in case. Now this card here, I wiped this one down, and the reason why is because surface on this card is always one of those issues, and if you look at that surface, I don't think you're seeing any issues with that, right? And that's freaking gorgeous. Now, you can't see it because it's so small, but there's one corner ding. Little bottom there. God knows if they will really kill me for that or not. yeah, you're not even gonna see it. It's just way too small. And I don't like touching this card. And I'll tell you something else about this card, this Derek Jeter card. I can't understand how it's possible that this is less expensive than Trout. Because for 20 years, this was the guy. 20 years, this was the card. And now it's going in the range of like $300, $400 for an 8. Which, by the way, an 8 is pretty good for this card because it was really hard to grade above an 8 on this card. Whereas a Trout, you know, they're all 9s and 10s pretty much. So I did sell one of these as a 9 before for $1,000 back when he was you know, the induction into the HOF. That was probably what, a year ago or two. Yeah, I hate these savers. I mean, somebody's got to teach me how to put these back in here better because, you know, I just don't even like it. If you're wondering where I get these cards from, a lot of the cards I get are probably from eBay, Craigslist, Let Go, Facebook, everywhere. I buy very few cards myself, and I buy very few crack packs. If I crack a pack, I'm probably not sharing it for anybody else. I'm probably just keeping it for my main set. This is your Topps 698 Acuna. I'm not sure if you know this card or not, but it's a little special because it's got the All-Star game on there. So when I bought this card off eBay when it came in, I was surprised to see how perfect the corners were. I was like, wow, I think this can grade a 10 personally, especially through PSA. And if it grades a 10, it goes from $40 to $200, and then I'll probably sell it and buy another one because honestly, I don't need a 10. Maybe other people do. I don't, and I can get 5 of these at like $40 a piece. And honestly, I think they're way undervalued compared to the bat down, you know, because I think it's probably just as rare as the bat down in my opinion. So, yeah, I really like that card. Tatis, he's pretty popular right now, if you've heard of him. This card here is a chrome, like I said earlier. When you're looking at these cards, it's very hard for me to tell when these cards are off center. Personally, to me, I don't see it as off center. It's easier to tell when they have 4 borders, but lately Topps has only been doing the 2 border situation here. Maybe you can tell a little bit easier in the back, and I can't tell if it's off center or not. Honestly, to me, I don't think it is. I think it has the impression that it is, but it's not. And so I think that's easily a 9 or 9.5 or a 10, no matter what, since it's Topps Chrome. I've never had an issue getting them. I never seen one come back in 8.5, put it that way. And if they have, it's clear like issues with it. Now, this one has 4 borders. You gotta love that. And I had one of these come back as a 9 already. But this one here, I think that's a 10. If you don't know Jason Dominguez, you want to buy Jason Dominguez, okay? And not even because he could become the GOAT, but mainly because, well, let's talk about him for a moment. Jason Dominguez is 17 years old, okay? This right here is your first edition, first Bowman. So if you're thinking about Lewis Roberts right now, what's his first Bowman go for? Just his paper one. Goes for like $40. Well, this is a first edition one. I'm calling this the COVID card, and I'm looking at like the the Desert Shield card from Desert Storm card from the '90s when Chipper Jones had his rookie card. That card's $1,000. Chipper Jones, his regular card's worth $3. So just think about it. You have your first Bowman, first Bowman COVID card, and even if he's just becomes a good player, let's say he becomes, you know, Reese Hoskins coming out of the into the baseball. You have to remember he's playing for the Yankees. Okay, if he gets called up to the Yankees, he's 3 times more anyway. Yankees cards, the Yankees players are always worth more than anybody else. Period. End of story. They have the biggest fan base in the league. So you know, if you buy Yankees, first Bowman, first edition, you're in a pretty good situation. I am betting high on those cards. This card here, I got this, where did I get this from? I got this from Facebook Marketplace, and the guy was selling a whole bunch of cards. This card was one of the pieces that came in it. This Billy Ripken card is really not worth a whole bunch of money anymore because of, you know, believe it or not, a lot of them were made. But when you get it graded, they're very hard to grade high. And I was looking at this, and it looks like it might be a little off-center, but that's really the only thing about it. It's definitely clear top to bottom. They're pretty even. It's got a nice clean edge up here and a nice clean edge at the bottom, which, by the way, I've noticed is rare for the 1980 89 Fleer cards. The other thing I want to say is that it's also vibrant. You know, a lot of times I get it and it's a little duller in the back. But this is definitely a real card. It's the FF card if you want to look it up. And I think if I get it graded, it comes back a 9, and all of a sudden it's going to be worth a lot more. So, plus, I kind of want this card for my personal collection, so I'm not even sure I'm going to be selling it afterwards. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he's putting them in there like that. You need to teach me how to do this. Because I hate card savers. Never want to use card savers ever again. Alright, so this right here, this is a Roger Clemens card. And honestly, a lot of these cards, they do come back 9s and they do come back 10s because I guess they were just well made. This is still rare though because it's a Fleer 1984 traded, which was not very popular back then. And it's the rookie card you want if you want Roger Clemens. Now I bought that set for like $200. Now the set goes for $400, and my thought process is I could literally get this card graded, sell it for $400, maybe $500, and then I can go out and buy the set again, and then start selling the other pieces off. That's one of my theories here. I actually want to keep this card forever, but we'll see. So I only got a few more cards to go through, but if you disagree with me on any of the grades, I'd definitely be welcome to hear it. I might not send all of them in. There might be one or two I hold back, just for a change of mind purposes. But what I'll do is I will post the grades when I get them back. So this is a 1963 Pete Rose card. Honestly, there's a few problems with this card. So first, you can look at the corners. They're bad, right? They're not the best. I would say the corners are about a 4, right? The centering is probably about a 5, which for vintage cards they grade a little bit more loosely. The colors are pretty good. They're pretty vibrant, but it's also out of focus. You can't really tell, but it's slightly out of focus. So if you sent this in the PSA, they may say OF for out of focus, grade it a 3 or 4. But honestly, I got it for a good price. If I can sell it and then maybe get a better quality version of it in the future, that would be the idea behind that. We'll see what happens. The card saver thing is insane. Got another Tatis in here, and I guess I got 2 Tatises because, well, because he's about to be the MVP, so they say. We'll see how that goes. But if I don't get these back in time, that goes out fast, right? Well, not necessarily. For example, last year I said, oh man, I can't grade Juan Soto. I'm going to have to trade him out now as fast as I can. Well, how'd that work out for me, huh? How'd that work? I had a SP, Topps Update SP, which I got out of my hobby box for like 60 bucks. I sold it for like 125. I thought that was a good deal. Yeah, I'm not so sure anymore. And then I also had his Topps silver card, which I bought for 200 bucks, just like this one, 2018 version, for like 200, and I sold it for like 3. But I'm like, damn, I should have held on to it. Now this is a card I don't want to touch, and I'll tell you why. Notice it's bigger. It's just genuinely bigger than your normal card. That's not cool. It barely fits in the top loader. And not only that, this card, you might not be able to see it, but it has a little bit of ripples right here. Now, they don't take off grading points for those ripples, by the way. But they are what I would call sensitive. I don't want anybody hurting them in any capacity. So that's the problem with that right there. So let me just be careful as I put this in. I don't know what this would grade personally. To me, it looks like it's fairly centered. The edges to me are pretty good. Slide it in there pretty good actually, and the coloring is really good on this card. This guy is underrated, right? He's in vintage. You might not even remember this guy, but really cool card. And then, last but not least for today, we're gonna get this card graded. You know, a year ago, I got this card for like 20 bucks. Can't even get that in the realm now. You know what I mean? This card is just going crazy. And you know, don't blame me for it. I mean, I'm not the guy dealing with this in the hobby. That's everybody else. So, I think this card right here, personally, I'm hoping it's going to come back as a 10, but the centering might be slightly off. The corners are definitely pretty sharp. I like to think that the edging is good on this too. So if I came back with a 9.5 on this thing, I'd be pretty stoked. And so let's just take this one through one. We're going to hope for 9, 9.5. Okay, I'd be happy with a 9.5. 9, I'm probably just going to get, you know, not even my value for grading the card. Alkaline, let's hope for 7 on this one. What do you think? Because, like, you know what? I think I can get a 7 out of this. Tatis, top silver auto. To me, the centering's perfect. The signature looks great. I think this is a 10. If that comes back a 10. Whew. Pete Rose, we talked a lot about this. I think this is a off focus card, OF, graded 3.5 or 4. That'd be nice, actually. Roger Clemens, I'm hoping for a 10. That would be my dream. I think it personally is a 9.5 or a 10. I'm really hoping for a 9 here. It might come as like an 8, 8.5. But if I got a 9 on this, I'd be super happy. Just the fact that it's a FF card, though, might just stay in my collection. This card here, I'm hoping for a 10, obviously, or 9.5. I send it to Beckett. I'm still undecided, by the way, if I'm sending it to Beckett or not. And I said bet on that card. Tatis, I think he is basically, you know, your next Trout, your next Mookie Betts. You know, this guy is going to be remembered for a long time playing shortstop, so long as he does not get injured. Similarly with Acuna Matata, I think this card's going to go up in value a lot when people realize that this All-Star card is definitely unique. This card here, in my opinion, severely underrated. I think everybody here should add this to their collection because there's really only so many out there, right? I had 4 of these, okay? I had 4 of these. The first one I sold ungraded, probably a bad idea by me, for like $100. The second one I sold for $1,000. The third one is on my shelf. I got all these graded at separate times. Don't ask me why, but this one was always the one I felt had the best condition. So the one on my shelf is an 8.5. The one before it was a 9. I think this is definitely a 9 or 9.5, even with that little corner ding. Come at me, bro. Topps Tiffany cards tend to always grade higher than the Topps traded cards, okay? And that's partially because of how they were made with the different material. I think this is definitely centered. I think it's got some nice sharp corners. I'm looking at a 9.5. This card here is Mike Trout. I told you a little bit off center, so hoping to get a 9 from this card. Kuna, to me, Topps Chrome. All Topps Chromes look like 10s to me, so I can't even tell you. And then this card here, I had told you maybe some surface damage. The surface damage I told you about was maybe a very slight, like a spot that I saw in the blue, even almost impossible to see. But the card looks really well centered and no very sharp corners. So I think that could be a 9 coming back to me. I mean, we'll see. I can get all 7s and I'll be up here looking like a fool. I have no clue what I'm doing, as evidenced from my last submission. But it's fun to play through that game. So again, today's topic was just talking about the cards I'm going to be submitting to PSA and or Beckett, hopefully here in the next week or two, and just to compare these versus these. These are apparently great for your own personal collection, but they don't want you using them for your submissions. So even though their cost is partially insane, you pretty much have to use them. Now I will tell you, I didn't use them for my Beckett submission a few years back, and I didn't have any issues. But apparently that's the norm now in the industry, and it's because A, they don't move once they're in there, and B, apparently they cut them open. I'm not even sure if that cutting them open thing is real, but it kind of sounds right because they're impossible to move. My other issue is that if you're going to be buying these, try not to buy them off eBay. Try not to buy them off Craigslist because people are out there to make money. I would go to the hobby shop because the hobby shops do have these. If you don't have one in your area, I'm sorry about that, but definitely got the better deal at my hobby shop than anywhere I saw on Facebook or on eBay. Alright, so that's it today.